Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Highland News Now. I'm Miranda Gakey.
And I'm Jenna Skarlupka. Let's start off with what has been happening on campus. Last week on April 12th and 13th, students from Highland, children from elementary schools, adults in the community, and Highland servant leaders from the surrounding areas came together to pack meals for Hearts and Hands for Hunger. This is the 10th annual event to date. This year, between Friday and Saturday, they raised funds for over 75,000 meals for kids in Nicaragua.
Attention all Highland students. Don't forget that registration is now open for the 2019 fall semester. Don't forget to meet with your advisors if you have any questions. And remember, don't wait until the last minute to sign up. Classes won't be available forever. Sign up now so you don't have to get stuck on the waiting list.
With Easter coming up soon, Highland has held a series of videos hosted by InterVarsity to help educate on the impact of Easter. Ever since last Friday, these videos have played in Building H. On April 15th, My Life Can Change played. Then on the 16th, My Pain is Understood played. On the 17th, My Life Has a Plan, followed by The Promise of Eternal Life on the 18th. And lastly, today on the 19th, I Have a Hope That Will Never Die will play.
Movies have been playing on campus all week. On April 17th, the Women in Science Club held a movie event at 3 p.m. in Building N, room 107. The movie that played was Mercury 13, a documentary about women who had to undergo extreme testing in 1961 to determine if they could travel in space. Then we're told that only men were being chosen as astronauts. The Spanish Club also held a movie night that next day, on April 18th. At 5:30 in Building H, room 201. Be sure to check your emails to find out more on what's happening in campus so you don't miss out. Now, let's go over to Will Beasing with the week's sport update.
Thanks, guys. As we move on to our sports update, we start out with the Highland golf team. On Tuesday, they placed an overall of 4th at their tournament with a total of 337 in Freeport at Park Hills. The individual scores concluded with the low being Javier Hazo with a score of 78, John Silvers with an 85. Next was Will Beasing and Alec Hines with a score of 87, and finally Dylan Conley with a 90. Then, in their tournament yesterday, the Cougars placed an overall of 2nd in their match play tournament at Prairie View Golf Course. In the first round of the tournament, the Cougars won the match against Oakton with a final score of 4-1. But unfortunately lost in the championship round against DuPage with a final score of 3.5 to 1.5. Women's softball won their home game against Blackhawk College 13-5 on Tuesday. On Thursday, they played Carl Sandburg, and tomorrow they have a home game at noon against Clark. Men's baseball won their game on Tuesday against Carl Sandburg 12-9. This Saturday, the boys will travel to Dixon to play against Sauk Valley Community College. As we now move on to the NBA playoffs, last night in the Eastern Conference, the 76ers won against the Nets with a final score of 131 to 115, which now leaves the 76ers leading the series 2-1. And in the Western Conference, the Spurs defeated the Nuggets with a final score of 118 to 108. The Spurs currently lead the series 2-1. Tonight, the Raptors will play the Magic at 6, the Celtics will play the Pacers at 7:30, and the Trailblazers will play the Thunder at 8:30. Over in the NHL playoffs, last night the Hurricanes defeated the Capitals with a final score of 2-1. The Blues beat the Jets with a score of 3-2, and the Sharks won against the Golden Knights with a final score of 5-2. Tonight, the Maple Leafs will play the Bruins at 6, with the series being tied at 2 games apiece, and the Flames will host the Avalanche tonight at 9, with that series being led by the Avalanche 3-1. I'm Will Beasing, and this has been your weekly sports update. Now let's check out what's on the menu for next week, and then a faculty spotlight on Chelsea Martinez.
Hi, I'm Shelley Perkins from the Highland Arts Cafe, and here is what's on the menu for the week of April 22nd through April 25th. On Monday, April 22nd, the special is a barbecue bacon cheeseburger, and the soup of the day is cheesy broccoli. For Tuesday, April 23rd, get a brat and curly fries with Italian wedding soup. Wednesday, April 24th, the special is a grilled ham and cheese sandwich. The soup is potato bacon. And Thursday, April 25th, we have a breaded chicken sandwich, and the soup of the day is tomato Florentine. As always, grill items are available and breakfast is served all day. The Highland Arts Cafe is open from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday on the first floor of Building H.
As we move on to our spotlight with Chelsea Martinez, I asked her about how she originally was interested and eventually majored in the field of psychology.
When I was in college, I studied human development, which at my school overlapped a lot with the psychology courses. And so I took some psychology courses, some human development courses. And I don't really remember what got me interested in it in the first place. I think it was just when I was taking courses, they were the courses that I liked the most. And so that's how I decided that would be my major. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of followed that through when I went to graduate school. I had a really good faculty mentor when I was an undergraduate who let me do some research with him. And his field was educational psychology, and so that's what I wanted to study in graduate school.
From there, I moved on to how she moved from California after she went to college at UC Davis to attend graduate school at UW-Madison.
And I applied to graduate schools all across the country because I really I knew what I wanted to study, and I had a good idea of what schools had good programs, and University of Wisconsin was one of those. And I guess I thought, I was 21, 22, I thought it would be an adventure to move from California to the Midwest, and it was. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got there. I found an advisor who was a good fit for me at graduate school.
Finally, we spoke about how she is able to interact with teaching students in both online versus in-seat classes.
And in class, it's easy to get to know the names of faces with students. In my online classes, that's harder. I ask students if they want, they can share a picture, but not everyone does. And since you're not seeing students every day, unless students are coming to office hours, it's hard to have the same face-to-face relationship. But I also think that because there's a lot of writing involved in online classes, I probably learn more about my online students because there's more reflection than we often have time for in the face-to-face classes. So there's kind of a balance. There's pluses and minuses.
In community news, an arrest has been made in relation to the death of Illinois State Trooper Brooke Jones Story 3 weeks ago. 55-year-old Craig Dittmar was arrested Thursday last week after being identified as the driver of the truck that struck and killed Jones Story while she was inspecting a commercial motor vehicle on Route 20 near Freeport. The Illinois State Police say his bond is set at $250,000. He faces felony charges on 2 counts of reckless homicide and 1 count of operating a commercial motor vehicle while fatigued and causing death.
Elsewhere in Illinois, the state Senate has passed a bill that may prevent President Trump from appearing on Illinois' 2020 ballot. If the Illinois House passes Senate Bill 145, then Trump and other presidential and vice presidential candidates will not appear on election ballots in the state if they don't publish their last 5 years of tax returns. The president has repeatedly declined to release his returns, while the Illinois Senate Republican caucus opposes the bill on the grounds the states do not have the power to add qualifications to federal offices.
Here in Freeport, the Art Museum's Downtown Art Plaza project is one step closer to going up. On Friday, Mayor Jody Miller and other local leaders joined board members of the Freeport Art Museum to break ground on a plaza site next to the post office, donated by late philanthropist Jack Myers. When construction is completed in 2020, visitors will be able to use the site's splash pad and multi-use stage. Fundraising efforts continue to be held for the project, which is expected to host many arts performances.
If you're looking to celebrate Easter in a fashion this weekend, head over to Eagle Ridge Resort and Spa in Galena. For the holiday, the resort is hosting yard games, Easter crafts, an egg hunt, and a reading of The Tale of Peter Rabbit. On Easter Sunday, the resort's Woodland Restaurant will hold the Easter Brunch Buffet. Tickets are $17 for children and $34 for adults. Contact the resort about the event by visiting eagleridge.com or calling 800-892-2269.
Coming up in Galena, check out their Center for the Arts next weekend for a mystery radio play. The Galena Center for the Arts is putting on The Medium Was Rare, The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, Private Detective, from April 25th to the 27th at 7 p.m., with another showing on the 28th at 2 p.m. Tickets are $8 for students and $16 for adults. You can purchase tickets at the door or online at galenacenterforthearts.com.
This weekend is your last chance to check out a great play in Rochelle. The Vince Carne Community Theater Springs plays The Last 5 Years by Jason Robert Brown opened last weekend and will have performances tonight and tomorrow in the Palmer Room at 531 South 7th Street. The musical is about a failing marriage told from the perspective of a writer and an actress, with one in reverse order and the other told chronologically. To purchase tickets, visit vcctrochelle.org. Now let's head to Melanie for the week's weather update.
Thanks, Miranda. We were surprised last weekend in the Stevenson and surrounding counties with snow falling, and it didn't last long and it didn't stick, but it set us back as we were finally getting to see some warm weather. We will see nicer weather a little bit this weekend, but then back to rain next week. In Stevenson County, we have a high of 65 and a low of 42 on Saturday. Sunday looks a little better with a high of 73 and a low of 48. Next week, temperatures stay in the 60s consistently, but we are forecasted to have rain, so make sure you get out an umbrella. Joe Daviess County is looking about the same for this weekend and the following week. On Saturday, we have a high of 67 and a low of 44. And on Sunday, we have a high of 75 and a low of 49. Again, the week looks like it's going to stay in the 60s, but we'll have some rain showers consistently. Following the trend, Carroll County is going to have a nice weekend with highs of 66 and 75, and lows of 49 and 45 for Saturday and Sunday. The week is also forecasted to have rain, however, they only have a 40% chance. Finally, Ogle County completes our weather update for this week. They also are going to have a beautiful weekend, but a not so good week. They've got highs of 64 and 73 and lows of 41 and 48 for Saturday and Sunday. The following week is also supposed to be rainy all week except Thursday, so go out and enjoy this beautiful weekend and then prepare for rain. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Melanie Brown, and be sure to come back next week. Back to you, Miranda.
This Saturday, auditions for Titanic the Musical begin at 9 a.m. in the Ferguson Fine Arts Center Theater. Auditions will consist of singing, acting, and a dancing portion. No prepared monologues or songs are needed. Dates for the show are July 11th, 12th, 13th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. For more information, you can email laura.early@highland.edu.
At this moment, the Student Trustee Forum was rescheduled and then eventually canceled due to a lack of candidates. However, voting is open today, April 19th, and on Monday, April 22nd. Write-in candidates are accepted.
The Women in Science Club is hosting a second free movie on Wednesday, April 24th in the Natural Science Room 107 at 3 o'clock p.m. The movie being played is Mission Blue, an Emmy Award-winning documentary about Dr. Sylvia Earle, a legendary oceanographer, marine biologist, and activist. Be sure to see the movie and go for snacks.
Also on Wednesday, April 24th is Thirsty Taco Day. Project Succeed will be having a taco bar open to all students, so if you're hungry, don't forget to stop by the Building M lobby at 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. for tacos. And now, we'll look at this week's health update and the club spotlight on InterVarsity.
Are you or someone you know at risk for type 2 diabetes?
Risk factors of type 2 diabetes, otherwise known as T2D, include obesity, being physically inactive, or having hypertension.
Treatment includes keeping blood glucose levels as nearly normal as possible through medications, dietary management, and exercise.
Type 2 diabetes may lead to needing an oral hypoglycemic medication or insulin.
To help prevent the development of type 2 diabetes, it is important to make lifestyle changes.
A weight loss of 7% of body weight lowers your risk for type 2 diabetes.
Increasing your physical activity and doing moderate exercise, such as brisk walking for 30 minutes 5 times a week, can also lower your chances.
I'm Bree.
And I'm Autumn.
This has
been your Highland Health Minute of the Week.
The InterVarsity chapter ministers to students and faculty through small group Bible studies, large group gatherings, leadership training, and thoughtful discipleship. The vision is to see students and faculty transform, to renew campuses, and create world changers. We welcome students into caring, diverse communities where they can build friendships, explore Christian faith in the marketplace of ideas. Come join in with worship, fun, and connection at meetings in Building F, Room 6 on Wednesdays from 2 to 3. InterVarsity is for all students, anyone interested in joining, so we'd like to see you there.
Now let's move on to national news. This past Monday, a deadly storm in the south killed 8 people and left more than 24 injured. The storm destroyed many buildings and left many people without power. Multiple states were under warning, including areas from Texas to Mississippi, with threats of hail, thunderstorms, wind, flash floods, and tornadoes.
On Thursday at 9:30 a.m., Attorney General William Barr held a press conference regarding the Mueller report before the actual redacted version of the report from the Justice Department is released. The general who appointed Mueller, Rod Rosenstein, was in attendance, as well as President Trump, who mentioned he might hold a conference himself regarding the report.
The saddening event of Notre Dame's fire and collapse in Paris and the news of their donations and plan to rebuild in 5 years led people in Louisiana to raise money to rebuild black churches that were burnt down as hate crimes just recently. People raised $1.3 million on GoFundMe to use towards rebuilding these historical churches. The money is to be split among the 3 churches, which were all over a century old.
New sanctions for Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua have been released from the Trump administration, with the heaviest actions focused towards Cuba. These new sanctions use terms of the Cold War and Trump's re-election campaign, stating to combat communism, socialism, and human rights abuses. Along with the sanctions, travel to Cuba will now be restrictive and will act in reverse of the relations President Obama made during his presidency.
That's all for this week. I'm Miranda Gakey.
And I'm Jenna Skarlupka. Tune in next week for another episode of Highland News Now.